Hi everyone, I'm Eileen Hull, and I'm here to show you some of the things that I'm creating for my daughter's wedding, which is coming up in just 2 weeks. So I am home here busily making things and helping her out with some of the projects that she wants to get done. So I just thought I would get on and show you some of the possibilities of ways that you can use Sizzix dies to help with your big events and special happenings in your life. So these are just some of the little gift card folders that I'm making. She's giving them to her bridesmaids and other people, involved in the wedding. So I wanted to kind of make each one special and give you some ideas for ways that you can do these. You could just crank out one in the same style or vary them like this. One of the things that I used and I'm really excited about is this Opulent cardstock pack. It's really pretty. It's all one color, very elegant. It's the ivory pack, and then there are 5 different types of paper, really nice quality, nice and thick, and you'll see when we die cut it that it makes a beautiful folder. So the die that I'm going to use is called the Tiny Bookcase, and this is meant to hold a little book inside, but if you make it out of paper you can use it in a different way, and that is to make these little folders. So we're going to make a couple. And the other die that we're going to use, and I don't have the packaging, but it's the credit card sleeve and tags, and I use these 2 little pieces here to make these kind of little embellishments and tags to give a little interest to the folders. So I also used on some of them this botanical 3D folder, embossing folder. That was great, and I love that one of my favorites. I also used some scissors. I used some ribbon in my stash that I had. I used some red liner tape because some of them I sealed up and some I tied. So you have the option of doing it however you would like. And then I also had some washi tape and I had some metallic ribbon. So I used them, and I didn't buy anything special, I just used what I had, although I will say I do have a lot of supplies here. But I was happy that I had them and didn't have to shop for them. Alright, so let's talk about the paper. What I like about it, another good thing, is that the size of it is perfect to run this through the machine. All you have to do is cut it in half, and it perfectly fits on the die. Let me show you. So here's the die, and this is a little accent piece that you can use for closure. There's one right here. Now what this normally looks like if you make it out of mat board is this. This is mat board covered with the Sizzix surfaces, the silver, so it makes a nice sturdy box for the book, but you can also use it with paper. So a lot of people don't know that, so I thought I would just show you how I did it. Okay, so as I said, I cut this piece of paper in half, and I have perfect amount for 2 folders. So this is the gloss or the mirror finish, which is really shiny, and in here I embossed it. I think is that one. Anyway, we'll look at that later. But the way that I do it is I turn my paper over so it is facing the die, and then those score lines are just going to give a very faint impression on the paper. Because they're scoreboard dies, they're designed to work with thicker materials, and in those it will score down into the box and cut all these little parts. But when you cut it out of paper, it's going to kind of give a little score line to the paper. So that's all we need to make it work. However, I did use my score pal or little scoring board just to make sure that I got everything lined up right. So let's just cut one and you can see what I mean. Alright, so I'm gonna get my big shot and let's just make one. Alright, so here's my 2 cutting pads, and let's do this one here. This is, I think, the pearl. The only reason I'm not doing this is because it's shiny and it might reflect, but they are slightly different weights, but they are all nice and heavy duty. So this one, I can't really tell the difference. That might be it, but either way, I'm gonna just run that through the machine. So I'm gonna place it on my die, make sure I'm covering all parts of my die, make my little Sizzix sandwich, and I'm gonna roll it through. Alright, so here's what we get. And sometimes I keep these because I can use my little circle will fit on these pieces that are left over. So I save them and then use them for the tags. Okay, but here is my shape cut out from the die. Alright, so I'm going to put that away for now. And you can see that some of the score, well, I think you can see, some of the score lines are on here. So these, I can tell, you know, these are going to fold nicely. But I'm going to use my little scoring board to do the rest of the score lines. And that's just two places I'm going to score. One of them is down here, and I'm going to go right along the line. If it doesn't work exactly right, you know, if there's a little gap here, just line it up on the top and move it so that it's right near a line and just score. Okay, so now you've got one score line, and then I'm going to take this up here and I'm going to go two notches up, and I'm going to score there. Okay, so then we'll fold up these, which should fall into place, and you can use your folder, your bone folder or your scoring tool to kind of lay that down nice and evenly. And then we're going to fold this over, and this is, you know, you could make it whatever you like, but this is basically going to hold a gift card. Where'd they go? Right here. So that will hold it inside, and then it will fold up like that. But I'm going to go ahead and trim off some excess paper that we don't really need here. I'm going to trim this a little bit, and you'll see in a minute why. Because when we fold it up, it's going to overlap a little bit. And then here, I'm also going to trim off a little bit just so that when it folds up, there's not bulk in that corner there. Right? So let's see how it works. I'll do this first. Yeah, perfect. All right, then we're going to fold it over. So that's how simple it is to create this little folder. Now, some of the other things that I did to kind of make them special was this one, I took one of those little circle tags, this one here, and that one I cut out of foam, and I covered it with washi tape. And then I used a brad, and so when I want to close that, I can just put it up like that, and that is very, very simple closure. Here's another one. I just punched the tag again out of the foam, and I tied it with some silver string, and that was that one. This one here, I used the embossing folder, and I did that on the back and the front of the paper, which is really pretty. I'll just open that up so you can see, and then I don't know, I just added that because it was pretty. Needed a little color. Now some of them, if you want, you can use your red liner tape to, you know, secure that if you want to keep it like a little pocket. But, you know, you might want to have them open it so they can just get at it and see it. You know, it'll just open up. But this will keep it nice and secure. And this is just like a little belly band. And I used the closure that came with the die, and then I just had a little circle, and I put a glitter circle in the middle. That would be pretty too, with a little monogram, like, or the date that they were married, something like that. This one I just used some washi tape, and my washi tape was getting a little bit old, so I went ahead and added some glue underneath just to keep it sticking down. And this one I covered with washi tape on my die, which was kind of a cool tip. I had never tried this before. But what I did was, to make sure that this would be covered with the tape, I tore this off, bigger than I needed. Well, it's way big. And then I just kind of folded this over here, nope, this way, and stuck that, no, I stuck, wait a minute, the paper is gonna, okay, paper will be on top, so I had to kind of stick this down like that. That's what it was. I did this like an hour ago, so of course I can't remember. But that's going to keep your washi tape ready when you put your paper on top. It's all going to cut at one time, and it made this perfect little, it looks like it's just gold, but it's actually washi tape in combination with the paper that I cut. So that was kind of a fun little trick. That one came out cool. And then this one is just, I tucked my, this one I bound with the washi tape, just wrapped it around and added a little bow to this, and then you tuck the flap under. So this is all one die, and all these looks, I love it. This is the glossy or mirror finish, and I wound up just flipping this. This is debossed and this is embossed, so it's a little kind of subtle difference, but this one, I think I did close this up with the red line tape. You just want to have something nice and strong. And then I just tuck that under. Then this one, I used Velcro as a little closure and a brad to keep that on. And this one, I embossed a tag and tied it onto the little middle piece with some silver string, and use that for a belly band. That's just ribbon. And these are all scraps that I had or things that were in my stash. It's amazing how much you can do with just white and silver and gold. Really pretty. This one, I just tied some ribbon around it and threaded it through the little latch piece and tied a bow. I'm not sure that I love that, but I can come back and look at it later. And so I need, I think, another 5 more. So that's what I'm going to be doing tonight. I found this great little roll that I had gotten at Michael's to use for embellishments. And then the other thing that I did was I cut a bunch ahead of time, or I tied little bows and I cut pieces so I have them on hand so I can kind of play with them as I go and add and see if I like how things lay or where I'm going to put them. But it's really been kind of a fun thing to play with, and at the same time I'm thinking and wishing all the best and happiness and health to my daughter Marianne and her fiance Tommy. So I have a couple other projects I will be posting for their wedding, and I hope you can use some of these. They don't have to be wedding, they could be for anything, birthday or whatever, but this white, you can't go wrong. So anyway, that's what's going on in my life. So thanks so much for sharing a little bit with me, and I will see you next time. Bye.